Hello everyone. This is kind of a first true real vlog, I guess, because I've done other ones before, but just not to this extent. Um, if you see me looking over here, it's just my notes that I wrote, just making sure I get everything and stay on track. And this is just my first overall experience about Animate Raleigh. I attended and vended, and so it was from January 3rd through the 5th of this year, 2025. And yeah, I'm going to talk about all the logistics, how much I spent, as well as how much I made, how much I brought, all that good stuff. So let's get started. Okay, so I applied on June 11th of 2024, and then I heard back on July 14th of 2024, so about a month, and I didn't really know what was going to happen. I just kind of applied, and I was like, you know what, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Also, if you hear a like steam sound, it's my radiator. It's cold. Anyway, so that was about a month. I got accepted and then got into like planning mode. So the fee for the Artist Alley table, which is a 6-foot table, and it comes with 2 chairs, and it's just a blank table. It did end up having like a pleated skirt around the table if you wanted to use that. I ended up putting a tablecloth over it. And so it was $349.80 just for that, and it came with 2 badges. And then I knew I was going to have my brother help me, and then I wasn't sure if my sister was going to, so then later on I think I bought this. You can buy additional badges, so I bought an additional badge in October, which ended up being $102.27, and then I began prepping in September. So I knew that I was going to be in town in North Carolina to visit family, so I was like, okay, let me knock out all the art prints. So I printed about 5 to 10 of each of those, and I knew I was going to bring greeting cards, so I did all those things. So supplies, I ended up spending $753.02, and that was just because I do everything myself and I print everything. It's my art prints, greeting cards, postcards, button pins, magnetic bookmarks, and I think those are all the things. So that was quite a bit of money that I was investing and hoping that I would sell. And then the first load-in email that I got, because I emailed them shortly after I got it, I was just like, hey, I would love to know logistics in advance, and they told me, we usually don't send anything out until about 3 weeks before the con. So I was like, okay. So I didn't hear back until December 13th, the first logistics email, and then from there, every couple of days, there was an update. So it had like the full email of like exhibitors, Artist Alley, all that stuff. And it was really important for you to like sign up for a load-in time. It didn't matter if you were just loading on the street or unloading on the street, you still had to sign up for a slot. The loading dock was a little more hectic, and I didn't need all that space to unload that much stuff. All of my stuff fit in my checked bag and my backpack, and I had a rolling dolly cart, and that was it. So so I started getting logistics. This event also required insurance, which I used ACT, and so that was $49, and then that covered, I think, 3 days of events. And then I think it's actually pretty good if you do multiple events, and then you can just buy it for a longer period of time. And then I had to apply for New York State tax, a tax ID. They also required that, so I just went to the government website, applied for that, very easy. And then I had to book my flight, which ended up being $173.96. And then I had to book a hotel because my family is in North Carolina, but they don't live in Raleigh. So the hotel I just booked through my credit card points, which was honestly fantastic. I had a really great time. You'll see a video of that at some point, or maybe it's playing now. I don't know. The products that I brought, I kind of went over a little bit, but I brought art prints and greeting cards, which again I said I sent earlier in November. I brought them down with me and just left them with my sister to help finish cutting and everything. Postcards, which I did bring some down, but then there are some that I print myself because I did start out outsourcing, and then I just brought everything in-house because I don't sell that quickly through my inventory. And then I had magnetic bookmarks, which I made myself, and stickers and button pins. I had a setback. So in October, November, my Silhouette Cameo machine stopped working properly anyway. It would cut my magnetic bookmarks totally fine, but it would not cut my stickers to save my life, which I have a lot of sticker designs, and as you see this video, there's going to be footage of all the stickers I have. So not being able to cut any of that was really frustrating, and it got to the point where I just was like, I have two hands, I can just cut them myself. I don't want to keep getting frustrated about the fact that this won't cut. So I contacted the Cameo support team, did not work. All the things they did, which were very helpful, it just was not working with this. So I flew in on New Year's Day, which was honestly not too terrible. It was actually pretty okay. Spent the day with my family, and then Thursday, which was load-in day, at this point I had already booked a load-in time, so I booked from 2 to 2:30, and I had me and my brother pack everything in the car the morning of, just because also it was really cold, so I didn't want anything to be affected. So I loaded everything in, and we were probably out the door around 9:07 or so. So there's gonna be some footage of us loading the car in. And so my brother and I got to Raleigh probably around 12:30. We checked into the hotel early and then got settled for a little bit, and then we were figuring out food. But we ended up going to Cha House Raleigh, and it was actually pretty good. They had a lavender Earl Grey tea, so I got boba in that, and then I got I think their pork chop meal, which was really good. And so then we had that. We went to the convention. Everything was loaded out pretty quickly. Basically, my brother and I parked on the side in a gated, not gated, it was basically fenced off for everyone not to go through it. But we loaded out, and then my brother helped me get to the to my table, and then he left to go park the car. So I started unloading everything, and then he helped me get all that done. We were there till about 5:30 or so, and I just wanted to get the skeleton up and just figure everything else later, just because there were things that I still had to cut and get prepared before we put anything actually up. Day one comes, and oh, mind you, I just realized, so the car door broke actually. The latch wasn't working, so that was not great. The day, literally New Year's Day, I was like, oh great. So after load-in and everything, that evening my sister told us that her car battery died, and we were like, I was just like, the world is against me, I hate this for myself, this is not great. And so she was able to get it sorted, because the other plan was that my brother was going to go drive to get her, because she was about an hour and 30 minutes away, and then bring her here because she already had a badge ready to go. And so I was like, I just need love and support, and I'm really stressed, so please take this off my plate. Would love that, thank you so much. And so day one comes around, we have breakfast at the hotel, and then we go to the convention center. I get dropped off early, the earliest that we could set up, because Thursday was the big load-in day, so that was from 1 to 9, I think. And then if you were loading in and setting up on Friday, it was from 10 to 2. So I decided that because my sister wasn't going to get into the area until about 11, that I would go early, and then my brother would bring my sister, and then we would start the day. So I was unpacking, getting everything ready. I was prepping things for them to do when they got here, because their ETA was going to be around 12:30 or 1, and so I was just trying to take things off of my plate so I could focus on something else that I needed to do, because it would take too much time to explain. So about 1 p.m. comes around, and I'm not panicking at all yet, but then 1:30 rolls around. I'm like, where are they? I have no clue where they are. And then they tell me that they couldn't get in because I'll go into this a little more later, but they couldn't get in because the staff was not letting any exhibitors in. They had to get in the line with everyone else. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. We are opening in 30 minutes. And so it was a whole saga. They finally get in. And I see my sister and I'm like ready to cry because I was just so stressed. And I felt like the world was against me. It is what it is. Having a pretty good first day. I figure out what I need to change and kind of finish getting cut and set up because there were a lot of stickers I still hadn't done. And I kid you not, the pile of stickers was like at least 1.5 inches thick because of how many I had. So that was not great. I finally got, I think I still didn't get them all done. I probably still have about 3/4 of an inch of stickers in a pile in my backpack right now. Day 2, I get up a little late. We get to the car, we drive, we get there around 9:30, and I'm just like, you know what, hopefully the hope and dream is that they let us in to the back entrance. This was the badge, and like it says exhibitor, so what, like in my head I'm like, what is the point in having this if you're not gonna let us in earlier or through a different entrance? But so basically day 2, there's like the regular people who are picking up their badge and everything, and then there's like another line that just says badge, which is not, doesn't say exhibitor, just says badge. And so I'm like, okay, where do we go? And he's like, oh, you go into the badge line. And I'm like, okay. And then it gets a little busy by the time me and my siblings are there, and so I'm just like, but can we just go in, like what's happening? And so then a lot of the vendors are really unhappy because of how that was done. And I totally agree that I personally think that our entrance should have been a separate entrance, whether that was in the back of the convention center, where honestly it was easier to get into the exhibit hall, or just, I don't know. It just needed to be a lot more efficient, and it just felt like it wasn't. And that's nothing against the staff. Like, the staff were all just trying to do their job and were really kind. It was just the rules that, I guess, the GalaxyCon Animate convention, or just the convention itself, decided that that was the thing. Yep, so there was a lot more foot traffic, and then something that I had my brother do because I was really shy was to take my Ito sticker that I have for Genshin and take it to Max Middleman, who voices Ito in Genshin Impact. And so I was just like, can you just drop it off? And yeah, he opened it apparently while my brother was there, and so I was very shy and just like, oh my god, I can't do this. 2 was like the Has Been event, so that was like the big thing because a lot of the Has Been hotel cast was there, and that was really great and really cool, but I didn't get to go, and I kind of wish I'd just taken the time to go. Like, it would have made the experience even more fun. I'll take the time to go and experience the panels because I really only went to something. I think I went Saturday night for the very last like 10 15 minutes of like the drag show, which was really cool, and that was pretty great. Day 3 was so slow. It was so slow. I really wish it wasn't. It was probably the coldest day of the 3, but it just was not great. I think I only made 3 sales that day. I was hoping for more sales. I was hoping that it would be the kind of last sweep or like crowd of people that are like, okay, I've been here for 3 days, like I have to get the things, because also on Sundays usually that's when all of the vendors will drop deals, so that way they can just get rid of stuff, because no one wants to carry all their stuff back with them, which is honestly what I did. I had to carry so much of my stuff back, and then there's stuff that I left because I'm hoping to be at GalaxyCon in Raleigh in July. So day 3, actually, like when I walked in, it was probably 9:30, and he was like, oh, thank you all for like being here, and then if you check your email, there will already be a sign up for next year. Like, it was kind of a grandfather in kind of thing, and yeah, that's how that worked. And he was like, there's an email, you can already get in for next year, you don't have to apply again. And I was like, we'll see how today goes. At the end, he was like, if you have if you're going to be loading out through the loading dock, and this might be helpful for anyone if they decide to do Animate. I'm not sure if this is how it works for GalaxyCon, or I think whatever the Fright Night or their other event is. Basically, like, you have to have your table clear, everything is packed. Someone from the convention will check the table, make sure you are fully packed, and then you can load out, because the process was, or the hope is that you would have everything loaded out, get the car, put everything in the car, leave, versus taking things slowly to your car, because a lot of people were taking forever during load-in to actually load in. They kind of left their cars there for an hour sometimes, and it got to the point where he was threatening to tow people because people were just not abiding by the rules and like respecting other vendors' time. But yeah, he said that if you just were going to take stuff to your car, just go for it. I do wish that they had kept at least 2 of the elevator bays open, because they decided to close the 2 on at least my right, like when you're in the exhibitor hall on my right. And so then it was like a line of people waiting for this one elevator that didn't fit that many people. And so my siblings and I just decided to carry our stuff up the stairs because we didn't want to wait, because it was going to take too long. So I would say that the things I would not bring again are my greeting cards and button pins. And while people looked at them and some people really liked them, they did not buy them. Like, no one bought any. So I would not bring those again. And I kind of have a lot of stock of them. So that's going to be kind of taking up space for a little bit. And then I would not... I'm surprised that my mystery bags didn't sell, because normally those are something that sell really well. Also, when I left here, I ended up being at 49.6 pounds, and I was so proud of myself. And then when I was at the airport, I was like, oh, this feels so much lighter. It was 58 pounds, and I was like, oh no. But they told me, they were like, if you can get it down to 52, we'll let you on the plane with it. And I was like, thank goodness. So I just like was one of those people that you see at the airport at this on the side, scrambling to get their stuff out of their bag into anywhere. So been like recovering. I don't know when this is going up, but I've just been recovering all week because I'm so tired, and today is probably the first day I've had any energy to do anything. All right, money breakdown. So day 1 I made 3 sales, and that was $42.80. And then day 2, which is the best day, usually Saturdays are always the best day, is 15 sales, and it was $170.46. And then day 3, 3 sales, and I got $12. So a total of $225.26, which did not make table back and definitely did not cover any supplies. If anything, it covered my flight, and that was about it. But I do think for a first time con, this taught me a lot, and I would definitely come back, I think. So some quick tips, just in case you are also going to vend and things like that, is to make sure you have enough cash, because a lot of people actually paid in cash. Kept track of all the cash transactions, and so most of my transactions actually were cash. No one actually paid me via Venmo, and card, people did pay through card. So just so you know, I did end up bringing, I already had 1s and 5s, but I decided to get more, so I had my brother go get $50, split the $50, so it was $30 in $1 bills, and then the rest were $5 bills. And just because I mentioned it earlier, having multiple forms of payment is so helpful, so that way it gives the customer all the option to pay however they wish. Because some people do like paying in cash, and some people just like to pay in card and not think about it. And so then in terms of how much I brought between 5 and 10 of each item, a little bit more actually of a couple, just because it was like that's how much I printed on a sheet. And I did not sell out of anything. I think I had one more Why I Otter sticker, which was the best seller of the weekend. I also will say that it did feel saturated with the Has Been Hotel things because of how many things there were. A lot of people had stickers and keychains. A lot of people had art prints, which were really cool. So I think that is something to be aware of if you decide to do the main event, essentially, of why people are there, because there's a lot of there was a lot of has-been related things, and so it just came down to whoever your favorite art style was. Another tip I have is to just grab a program, because this is helpful just to kind of see how they line things up, as well as just kind of like the memes to be like, this is where I was. And yeah, there's just a lot of cool things in here. There was a lot of things that were canceled, actually. So I would say make sure to check the website as well, because there were some panels that I thought about going to, and then they weren't there. Something I decided to do was to make my booth more interactive, and a lot of people had the vending machines by Art Vend, which were super cool. I just could not carry that. But I decided to do a D20, so that's a D&D dice, and for every $20 someone spent, they could roll, and if they got a natural 20, then they could pick any print that they wanted, which was, I think, pretty cute. Only 1% ended up spending over $20, so I did at least get to experience it and watch someone do it. But I would do it again, I think. I think it's a fun little thing for someone to do at a table. I will say that so this is kind of an overview of the SuperCon staff / logistics. Is that, again, the staff were really nice, and I don't blame them at all for anything, because they're just doing what they're told. But again, the entrance was really terrible to make us like go through all this waiting just to get in. The entrance, it was so weird, because they decided that one way would be the exit and one way would be the entrance, and so at one point it was just me and my siblings and a bunch of other people were just standing there, because this one person just did not understand what to do and didn't have a badge and all this stuff, and then the worker was just like, you need to go over there, and it was just like, and there's just like a bunch of people behind us trying to get in because the other way is apparently the exit. It was a whole thing. I do think that having the no food allowed signage, or just like rule, I get it for con goers, because obviously the convention wants to make money and all this stuff. There was also food trucks, but I do think it is not feasible and or like helpful to make exhibitors do it too. Why do we as exhibitors have to pay for food on site? Because also, when my sister and brother left, they had to come back through the front entrance. Like the food trucks were on a side entrance, and then once you exit, you still have to go around. And I was like, you're joking. It's so crazy. So I get it for security reasons, but as an exhibitor, I also have dietary restrictions, and so I can't actually have that many foods with like any peppers or certain peppers and tomatoes and eggplants and all that stuff. And so it's not necessarily hard to find alternatives, but it is hard when things have like paprika in them, which I cannot have. And a lot of the stuff there, at least at the convention, was like fried food, which I love fried food, but like having 3 days of that back to back is a lot. Because I've done 2 years of markets in New York City, I know what my setup is. I know how to set up and break down things, and it wasn't as, I think, difficult or hard to transition that into a convention setting. I think that having that experience is great. I do think if you're going to do your very first convention or just wanting to do markets, that the artist vendor community is so helpful. Like, I love being able to ask my neighbors their advice as well as their experiences and like what they think is worth it, what they think is they don't think is worth it. And everyone is so kind and helpful. So if you are interested at all, just go to something that you're like, oh, I would love to do that, but I don't know what it'll be like. Just go up to a vendor that you like their stuff, you like their setup, whatever it is, and 9 times out of 10 they'll be super nice and very helpful. I've not necessarily run into someone who's mean or anything, but it's also when you catch them, because trying to talk to someone when they're setting up, not a good thing, or is breaking down. It's like that middle spot of just like when they have a moment and just chat with them, and it's great. The con itself is worth it. I think I know what to bring now, so it'll be less crazy, hopefully, ideally, and I think it'll be good. It'll be better next time because I know what not to bring, and I think I want to do a slightly different setup and bring more lights, because the light situation is fine, but having my booth neighbor Spoonwood, she had music stand lights pointed at her foil notebooks, which was so cool. But I think for a second year con that was not bad. I don't know how many ended up attending. I'm also excited to say that I will be at Animate Raleigh in 2026. Woo! Claps. I decided to go ahead and do it because it was slightly discounted, but also because I think obviously I didn't make table, but I think I did well enough that I would do it again, because this is a growing con, so I'm hoping that next year will be even better. And I think it will be. I think it's just the growing pains of starting out. I think I wouldn't consider it as much if I didn't have family and if I didn't feel like I could make a profit next time, and I think I can. I have a better idea of the things that I should expand upon, like my magnetic bookmarks I think could have a couple more designs, and I think I know what stickers to have more of and do more of. A lot of it's my mentally unwell stickers. If you are interested in it in starting out, I do think it's worth it. It is pricey. $349, I think I said, is pricey. So just be aware of that. Otherwise, I would say just buy a one-day ticket or a one-day badge and just go to attend and see how it goes, talk to vendors, all that good stuff. And I do wish, looking back on it, I wish I had taken more time away from the table. Like, I wish I had gone to the Has Been Hotel panel. Obviously, it's going to be on YouTube, so it's fine, but I do wish that I had gone to different panels, gone and explored more of the exhibition halls. I did see the exhibitor section and the artist alley. I did like 4 rounds of walking around, and I still kept finding things. Yeah, and then if you have a helper, or if you can get a helper, I think that's very helpful. And so I had my brother and my sister. We kind of took turns about like just going to the bathroom, taking breaks, all that good stuff. I invited them to my Square app so that they could be team members, and then they could do transactions from their phones. My sister's phone was too old to do the tap function, so I just had her use a spare phone and then did it that way, and it worked out fine. I had them help me with inventory. Yeah, and I showed them like, this is how you do a transaction. I showed them while I was doing a transaction for a customer and a fake one as well. I had them both just kind of like go through the motions to be like, okay, make sure to add this discount, and then have a bag, the business card, coupon, and a freebie sticker, put them all in the bag, all that good stuff. So it's kind of running through that process. Oh my gosh, this is like a 41-minute video. Oh my god. Okay, worry not, we will break it down. So I'm gonna go over the art prints that I got. So this one, my siblings saw and they were like, you need it, and I was like, you are correct. So this is from Raiko Art, I believe, and it's just Alhaitham from Genshin Impact. He's handsome and beautiful, and I love him very much. From my neighbor Psychotic, I think is how to pronounce their name, I have a Haku print. I wanted the small one, which was probably the Alhaitham size, so it was much tinier, and they just didn't have the small one anymore, so I got the large one, and I love it so much. I have so much Haku art prints in here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 Spirited Away / Haku prints in 5 in my room, so clearly I love him very much. And then Spoonwood was my neighbor to my right, so I loved the snake. I am a snake lover. I think it's beautiful. I should probably, that way the light hits it, but yeah. So that's that one. And then this one, I just stared at this all day, and this was actually the one that she had as a notebook as well. And so the gold that you see was the foil, and it was so beautiful, and I love it so much. And it's the moon, it's like a tarot card. Beautiful. Cannot wait to put this up. I have so much art on my wall. Yormjin, who was my neighbor to my left, had these notebooks, and they bind these themselves, which I'm just like, it's so cool. It's metallic, and yeah, the paper's so nice too. Highly recommend if you ever need a notebook. Obviously my exhibitor badge paid for, but you know. And then I have Nouvelette from Genshin Impact with a little otter, the hydrant. And then Serpentious. Oh, sorry. This was from Zia. And then this one is from Psychotic, the one I got the Haku print from. It's just Serpentious with an egg boy. And then I have Get Excited Designs had a Haru and Rin from Fruits Basket. Oh, that might be too close. From Fruits Basket. And he's like kissing her. It's like the most iconic scene between them. So obviously had to get that. Machi Art Studio had this Serpentious and Cherry Bomb double-sided keychain, and I just couldn't resist because they are my favorite. Well, Serpentious is my favorite, clearly. Love him so much. Hasbin Hotel. So yeah, so there's that. Bluelius is someone who makes omomoris, and their setup, insane. Don't know how they do it. It's so cool. Love it so much. And so I got Yanfei from Genshin Impact, and on the back is her name in Chinese, and I love Yanfei so much. And I wanted to make sure that all the things that I was getting Genshin wise, I don't have of that character necessarily. So I don't have any Yanfei merch at all. And then I got Senora, and then on the back it has like a cute little the travelers. But yeah, so, and then Senora's name is on the back as well. Goozy pins. And so I have a Mew pin, which is so cute. I could not resist, okay? I just could not. And then, so they had a ton of stickers for like $1, and I was like, this is crazy. There are so many. They had like the exhibitor space, which is like a 10-foot by 10-foot space, and it's just all stickers. And I was like, oh my gosh, dreams. But yeah, so there was 2 Navia ones that I obviously had to get, Genshin Impact. A Squirtle sticker, which I think, oh wait, this might not be them. Different person. Mudkip. And trying to make sure I have all of them. Haku, because diff. Serpentious. Another Haku. Do we see that I love Haku? I don't have an obsession. A Mew. Also maybe love Mew a little too much. Is there such a thing? And then Gatomon, which if you love Digimon, you will know Gatomon. And I actually have a Gatomon pin up here because I love her so much. Oh, and then Bluelus. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. But they also had ribbons. And so this one says it's Chongyun, who is one of my mains. And it says Exorcist Clan. And so he's so cute. And I love it so much. I'm not even going to stick it on anything because I just love it so much. I could just stick it on the exhibitor badge because then it's like the memes. But anyway. And then Atelier by April. I got a Nouvelette and a Changyin sticker, and they're like little kitties, and they're so cute. So clearly, I love Genshin Impact. Okay, B Rose Tattoo, I did an exchange, and so I have this game controller, which was really cool. And then I got a Gengar sticker, and I think this one is from her. It's a Squirtle sticker, but the Gengar sticker was from my roommates. Another person that I traded with, it was his first con too, so it was Neon Shiba Studio, and so we traded stickers, and so this was a jellyfish, which so cute. I love it so much. I think it's like so pretty. So I love that. He also has a YouTube video of his experience at Animate, so definitely go check that out. And then R&B pins. They had a ton of things. She stopped by, and if you read ACOTAR, then you'll find this funny. But this is a court of thoughts and poses. And honestly, amazing. It's holographic. And so obviously, love that. And she was like, oh, I have like Illyrian fire whiskey for Cassie. And I was like, say less, girl. I'm going to come over to your booth. And she had a bunch of like dress forms. So this is Mistress 9 from Sailor Moon. Hopefully that is showing up. Mistress 9, and then Helenia, we know I love. And then Wicked Lady, iconic. And then what made me so excited was that she had Kikyo, because I have not seen Kikyo merch at all, which I'm going to fill that void because she is my favorite character of all time. So she also had a pin version, but I decided to just stick with the stickers. And then this is the Illyrian's Fire Whiskey. And it's 69 proof. So I love that. And she's going to get bigger ones of that. And then obviously Cassian's wings. This pin, which I cannot, I'm so sorry to the artist who gave this to me because they were so nice. But it says nervous. And I was like, yes, me. Absolutely yes. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions about just the conventions, markets, all that good stuff. Oh, R&B pins also gave me. We have been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty ribbon, which I thought was amazing. So I love that too. I'm not as active on YouTube, but I'm hoping to be, hopefully, at least in terms of conventions. I do want to continue to make convention kind of wrap-up videos. Thank you for watching. So sorry if this is so long. I'm going to try to make it shorter and hopefully do some overlapping of some content so it's not just me talking to you. Yeah, so thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys later.